Hey Momentum family, my name is Jamie Steele. Most of you know me as the bad church greeter, but I'm actually not a bad church greeter. I'm pretty awesome. But I am going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I came to Momentum. So back in like 2008, my mom was diagnosed with cervical cancer and then went into remission. Everything was great, but then in the beginning of 2009, her cancer had come back, and then in August of 2009, she passed away. So right after that, I became pretty obsessed with just the fear of dying. It was constantly on my mind. I'd be sitting at work or in a restaurant or anything and just have an anxiety attack. It was just really weighing heavily on my mind. In 2010, so a year later, I read this book, which I don't know if it's a biblical book at all, but it was a book about a man who says that he went to hell and God showed him hell and then also like showed him heaven, and that book scared the crap out of me. So I was like, oh my gosh, like now I'm gonna die and I don't want to go to hell. And so I'm like, okay, what do we got to do? I was raised Catholic, but I wasn't doing anything that showed that I was a believer. And then my family, you know, I hadn't raised my daughter in church, and my husband, PJ, like he went to church as a kid, but it wasn't really his thing. He couldn't care less. But I'm like, we got to get to church. We got to get to Jesus, because we ain't going to hell. So I remembered that PJ had talked about this church that he heard a commercial about. And the church was like, we meet in the Valley View Theater. And if you dress like SpongeBob, this Sunday you get in for free.
And this week, people who still can't pronounce Chipotle,
Get in free.
And he told me about it. He's like, oh, it sounds like a really cool church. Maybe we should check it out. And I said, any church that charges a cover charge to come in is a cult, and we're not going to go there.
Nah, there's no cover charge.
But fast forward to, we're going to hell, and we need to get to church, right? So I'm like, maybe we need to look up this culty church and pay the cover charge and go.
One thing you don't have to worry about at all. We are definitely not a cult.
Looked it up online, found that it was Momentum, watched a few silly videos on YouTube, and I was hooked. I was like, all right, I think this could be the right place for our crazy selves. So we went to Momentum in October of 2010. When we came in, it was during one of my still favorite series, which is I Believe in Monsters, and they were playing a Skillet song, which I had never heard before. PJ had heard, and it was pretty cool. It was like rock, and it was dark, and there were like lights and stuff. It was just really cool experience. And then everyone was so friendly and like invited us to a Mo group. Our first day in the door. Since then, I got baptized. My husband's gotten baptized. My daughter's gotten baptized. My sister, my brother, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law. So many people that I know and love have been brought to Jesus because of Momentum and because of what was one of the greatest tragedies in my life. But since then, I've also lost my grandmother and my grandfather. And of course, I was still sad. I was devastated. But I can say that the experience was very different. Now I have a hope that that I didn't have before. Of course, nobody wants to die. I'm not like, woohoo. But I'm not like sitting at work, can't breathe because I'm thinking about what does my future look like. Momentum has led me to Jesus and my family, and it's exactly what I was looking for and hoping for. And I really just encourage like anyone who doesn't know Jesus to find him. Like if you're feeling hopeless or anxious or depressed, I couldn't imagine going back to the way my life used to be. It's completely changed. So that's a little bit about my story and how I got here and how you're all stuck with me. So I love you guys.